Playboi Carti might be the most influential rapper alive right now. Don't believe me? Go to your Instagram Explore page and look at every fashion-adjacent rapper and model dressing however Carti decided to dress last week. It's not just a style thing. Listen to the colorful, bouncy Pierre Bourne production from his 2018 album Die Lit, or the divisive, stadium-ready rage music from his 2020 album Whole Lotta Red, and then look at what came out right after those albums, and see how many rappers started jumping on whatever kind of production he had just jumped on. With Whole Lotta Red, Mario Judah even went and dropped his own version of the album before it came out. Remember Mario Judah? 2020 feels like a complete fever dream. It's hard to remember sometimes, but even for a guy as influential as Carti, he was once on the other side, getting influenced by someone else. And the answer to who influenced him might surprise you. His first music video from way back in 2011 when he was going by Sir Cartier for a song called Cry went viral a couple weeks ago. His vocal delivery is totally different than what you might expect if you came right from Whole Lotta Red or even from Die Lit or even from his self-titled album. The beat comes from a French Montana and Currency song from French Montana's project Mac and Cheese 2 called So High. Even though it was from a French Montana tape, this type of chill, sample-led production screams Currency, who is the first voice you hear on the song, setting the laid-back tone with some opening lines about how he's chilling in a hammock with an ounce of kush and an ice cream sandwich. Carti has spoken on record about how much he loves Currency. Back in 2017 with Peter Rosenberg from Hot 97, he called him his favorite rapper.
Currency used to be my favorite rapper. I related to him so crazy. I grew up on that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and Currency is a big influence on, like, my shit.
Now, if you clicked on a video about lifestyle rap, you might already be familiar with Currency. But there are definitely people out there who would call themselves big hip-hop fans, and maybe they even listen to a lot of hip-hop, and they might not have any idea who Currency is. Or maybe they've heard of him, but they've never listened to him. He sits at under 2 million monthly listeners on Spotify. He has exactly one gold plaque for a song featuring Wiz Khalifa, and the only time he's ever entered the Hot 100 was for a song in 2015 featuring Lil Wayne and August Alsina. But don't let the lack of traditional accolades make you think that Currency is some unsuccessful guy. He sits in cruise control, in his own lane, not worried about what's going on in the wider hip-hop world. He goes right to his fans and he gives them exactly what they're looking for, across an incredibly prolific discography that includes 12 solo albums, 23 collab albums with other producers and artists, 34 EPs, and at least 40 mixtapes. And in addition to more surprising artists like Carti, he's inspired basically an entire subgenre in itself of chill, cool guy rappers that some people have taken to call lifestyle rap. So what is lifestyle rap? When you Google it, you get a couple of Reddit threads here and there asking about it, and then the next 15 or so links are all related to Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan's song Lifestyle. Something wrong with the pussy. So lifestyle rap is clearly not a term that's been accepted and put into the lexicon by the entirety of hip hop, but yet it seems to be the closest thing I can find to describing this world. I'm not the first guy on YouTube to use it. Shout out to Coop the Trill for talking about some of the artists that I'm about to talk about, like Currency, Larry June, Jay Worthy, Dom Kennedy. And his video is from a couple months ago, and it's great. I watched the whole thing. I put it in the description so you guys can check it out too. But today, I'm gonna try my best to get to the bottom of what exactly lifestyle rap is. Who is included under this umbrella? Why is it called that? Should we call it that? Or should we come up with something else? What makes this genre of music so appealing to the people who love it so much? To the point where it might be one of the fastest growing subgenres in hip hop today, where artists are shutting down tours, selling hella merch, basically preaching life improvement upon these listeners. And last but not least, I actually spoke with an artist who is in this lane about it so that we can understand it a little more. But before we get into all that, if you like lifestyle rap, I need to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Cruise Control TV. Cruise Control is the first and only lifestyle page on Instagram that covers the established and the up-and-coming artists in this space. One of the most common questions I get in the comments of my videos is, where can I find new artists? Where can I find artists that are like what I like? So if you're into this genre of lifestyle rap, which if you clicked on this video is a pretty good chance, and if not, maybe by the end of the video you'll develop an appreciation for it and you'll check out some of these artists, and you gotta go follow Cruise Control TV. You're looking for that chill, laid back, R&B, hip hop vibe. It's a great place to start. I linked the Instagram page in the description. Shout out to Cruise Control for sponsoring this video. Let's get into it. Currency is inarguably the face of the lifestyle rap genre, so we gotta start with him. He's had a very long career in hip hop, maybe longer than some people would realize. He's been actively rapping for over 2 decades. Some might know that once upon a time he was signed to Cash Money Records and Lil Wayne's imprint Young Money, but his story begins even earlier than that. He was signed in 2001 to a New Orleans-based label called Tough Guys Entertainment, but a year later the CEO was murdered. So he moved to another label called True Records that was run by the rapper C Murder from the group True, until C Murder was, unfortunately and ironically because of his rap name, arrested for murder. Then he moved to C Murder's brother Master P's label, No Limit, but he never put an album out, and in 2004 he left No Limit. He ended up signing to Lil Wayne, who was actually a guy that he knew from around the neighborhood in New Orleans. The song Where the Cash At, which featured Wayne and Remy Ma, showed what Currency was on in 2004. It definitely has that Cash Money bounce, but the chill, laid-back drawl that you get from Currency is still familiar. And yet, his Cash Money YMCMB deal never worked out. He didn't drop an album with them, and he ended up talking about why it didn't really work out a couple years later on The Breakfast Club.
The music that I was recording, if I listened to verses that I laid on Young Money Records, like there's something about the assault rifle.
It didn't fit.
9mm, or maybe I got like
You wasn't
bricks
about that
in my
violence.
trunk, and
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
saying that shit
Yeah.
because that's what was being, I didn't
Right.
want to mess it up, so I'm like, all right, I can do that too, you know what I'm saying?
I've
but,
seen it, I
but it
understand
wasn't
it.
what I wanted
Wasn't
to
you.
do, yeah, so I had to get out of there and just be completely honest, and the universe rewarded me for it.
Rather than conform to what everybody else was rapping about, he decided to rap about the stuff that he liked. Weed, snacks, video games, cars, women, hanging out with girls, and it comes with this chill guy sheen over it. And because he really does like all these things and knows a lot about them, it comes off as very genuine. It also helps explain why he's able to be so prolific. He doesn't need to walk into the booth and try to put himself in the mindset of a Young Money artist, of a Cash Money artist, of a Rap Caviar artist. He can just walk in there and talk about the stuff that he likes. The Pilot Talk trilogy is when I personally was first exposed to Currency. And a personal favorite song of mine, Breakfast, is great for understanding his appeal. First, he sends a little jab at the other guys, the men who are falling for women who probably only want them for their money. But he says it in such an interesting way that always stuck with me. He breaks the rhyme scheme to say, "You think they like your haircut? Fair enough," which has this kind of internal rhyme to it. And it's very conversational. And then he goes on to explain his whole kind of stay out the way mantra and business plan in just a few lines. Live your life, partner. Guess I could keep them 2 cents in my pocket, add that to these underground rap dollars, refuse the majors and stayed real, I kept my promise. It's so sticky it's hard for me to read it, I kind of have to rap it. And these specific bars resonate with me a lot more now as an independent artist than they did when I was a kid playing 2K, listening to this in the background, and as an adult, just trying not to get caught up in some silly shit. But what really caught me as a teenager was later on in the verse, when he vividly describes turning on his Xbox 360 and updating the NBA 2K roster so he can play an entire season with teams that were like accurate to who was on what team in the NBA. And a bar like that is a great introduction to understanding the appeal of lifestyle rap. You see, when trying to understand the allure of a particular artist, I've always found it helpful to put them on a spectrum of relatable to aspirational. When a rapper tells you how rich they are, how successful they are, they're on these crazy vacations that maybe I can't afford. They're spending amounts of money that I've never seen amalgamated in one place, or maybe even accrued across my life so far. The type of money that you gotta hit 15 buttons on an Xbox 360 controller to unlock in GTA, and they're spending it on one purchase. That's the type of stuff that you'd call aspirational. The vast majority of the listeners of that artist, they can't do that. But when they listen to it, they say, damn, it would be really sick if I could do that. It motivates me to go and get closer to being able to do that. The other side of the coin is to be relatable, to say things that when somebody listens, they think, hell yeah, he's just like me for real. That's exactly what I would do in that situation. I might have even done that today. And that's kind of the main appeal of lifestyle rap. And so while Currency may be regarded as kind of the father of the genre and everything that came after him, there are some prototypes in rap's history that I think are really fun to listen to in the context of lifestyle rap. And it's hard for me to say if this was the first rap song to fit the bill. I highly doubt it. I don't know that much about 80s rap. I was born in the middle of the 90s. But when I think about the prototype of lifestyle rap, I think It Was a Good Day by Ice Cube. Released back in 1993, the song has Ice Cube reminiscing on the perfect day. Nothing that crazy happens. He doesn't win the lottery. He doesn't get abducted by aliens. It's a cascade of realistic but positive moments that kind of stack on top of each other. And it leads to the perfect 24 hours. He eats a good breakfast, he gets a call from a girl that he's always wanted, somehow drops a triple-double in a pickup basketball game, nobody tries to rob him, the cops leave him alone, everything is smooth. The song is a smash hit in the rap world, and today it sits at over 1 billion streams on Spotify, and it's easily his most popular solo song. It might even be the most popular song Ice Cube has ever been a part of, even if you add the NWA stuff in, but it goes beyond just numbers. It Was a Good Day was so fascinating and so captivating to people that people on the internet dedicated hours, days of their lives trying to figure out exactly which day was the good day in history. They checked the weather reports to see when LA had a clear day with no smog. And they checked the TV records to see when Yo MTV Raps was playing. They went and checked the NBA box scores to see when the Lakers beat the Supersonics, and they came up with January 20th, 1992. Another blogger came back and questioned the evidence based on when beepers were available, and came up with November 30th, 1988. It got to the point where Ice Cube himself had to come out and be like, hey, this was fiction. It's a fictional song. It's basically my interpretation of what a great day would be. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little of this and a little of that. I don't think you can pinpoint the day. And so the appeal of the song, besides the excellent sample, the great storytelling, Ice Cube having a great rap voice, is that it's also just what a lot of other people would interpret as a great day. And when you revisit Currency's raps about smoking weed and playing Xbox, a lot of people are like, man, you know what? That does sound like a great day. And therein lies the appeal of lifestyle rap. But the allure runs deeper than just Currency having the same Xbox 360 habits that I might have had when I was 15. Beyond these relatable actions on the surface, it's about a mindset. It's about a whole lifestyle. Keeping to yourself, being confident, not shaken or stirred in the presence of herbs. Herbs being a word that people used to use like a decade and a half ago to describe lame people, losers. I really want to bring the word herbs back. Start bringing the word herbs back 2025. People who listen to lifestyle rap don't just relate to specific actions, it's an overall worldview. And Currency wasn't alone in this lane in the 2010s. The blog era, as it was called, allowed for rap fans on the internet to start ignoring whatever was on the charts or on the radio if it didn't really serve their interests, and find independent and smaller artists whose missions and lanes kind of fit them more, and just download their mixtapes on the internet, slap it onto their iPhone or their iPod, and go about their day. Dom Kennedy provided a similar energy, but with an LA spin to it, including what some people would call a classic project in the Yellow album. Arguably the biggest rapper in this lane was Wiz Khalifa, whose projects Cushion OJ and Taylor Alderdice fit nicely in the lane, but because he also kind of crossed over and went fully mainstream, it's hard to put him only in the lifestyle rap box, but he was definitely a part of laying that foundation back then. As hip-hop continued to expand across the 2010s and the 2020s and develop deeper niches, the world of lifestyle rap has grown a lot. One of the most popular artists today who's often placed with that tag is Larry June. Larry's path in the hip-hop industry is actually kind of similar to Currency's. Over a decade ago in 2014, Larry released a project called Route 80 that was fully produced by TM88, who's one of the members of Atlanta producer collective 808 Mafia. Now when you think 808 Mafia or you hear that 808 Mafia tag, you probably associate it with Future, Young Thug, Lil Uzi Vert maybe. You don't necessarily think about laid back, chill lifestyle rap. And sure enough, that's because this tape did not sound anything like that. It's straight up like 2013 and 2014 trap beats that were good, but they sound like they could have been on Future's Monster. Larry's still rapping about getting money, still rapping about smoking top shelf. You still hear some AE ad-libs that you might hear later in his career. And the tape is still good. It's no wonder that it was posted by Complex when it came out or that Warner Records came and signed him right after. But at the same time, it's not quite the tried and true formula of Larry's releases today. And just like how it went with Currency, Larry got that major label record deal and then ended up not releasing any music with them. He spent those 2 signed years from 2014 to 2016 opening on the road for artists like Post Malone and Smoke Perp, getting something like $500 a show just to keep himself afloat, while Warner pretty much stopped showing interest in him. Funny enough, the first time I ever heard Larry June was a feature on Post Malone's mixtape August 26th on the song Never Understand, and Larry's like kind of singing on there. It's very different from what you would hear from him now. It took getting dropped by Warner for Larry to start forging his own path. His take on the lifestyle rap sound has a little more Bay Area bounce to it given his California roots. There's an argument to be made that some of his predecessors in Bay Area rap like Mac Dre and Too Short are also forefathers of today's lifestyle rap genre, kind of with their like conversational rap style. It's very related. You can see the tree from how we got there. That kind of style of rapping that feels like they're talking to you, you know? His signature "Good Job Larry" or "Sock it to him" ad-libs remind you of who exactly you're listening to every time you tune in. Just like Currency, who's a frequent collaborator of his, Larry is a super prolific guy with 11 solo albums, 9 collab albums, 11 EPs, and 5 mixtapes under his belt. Some of his more popular songs like Smoothies in 1991 are among my favorites, but a personal favorite deeper cut is Iced Coffee from his album Orange Print. It's about a real grown-up relationship with the trademark healthy habits that he pushes sprinkled in. You get the iced coffee, I get the green juice. The average fiber intake of a Larry June stan would make any doctor proud. Even when Larry flexes, talking about Rolexes, he takes time to also flex on the girl by telling them they should get a house kind of out the way. And it's not a house out the way like the way that Drake talks about like taking that girl and putting her in Katy, Texas so that nobody else can find her. It's a lot more romantic than that. Larry is painting a picture of an adult relationship. And so even if the fans can't relate to the Rolex Daytona watch, they can relate to the idea of settling down with their boo. and there are legions of people latching on with this lifestyle. One of the best ways to judge organic popularity in music is to check the live shows. You can fake the streams, but you can't fake the real people who actually show up to your tour. Currency and Larry June both have an extensive history of touring. I have a friend who's actually a big Larry June fan and a big hip hop fan in general, who lives in a big city, where a lot of the artists that he listens to probably tour, and yet he never went to a concert in his life until he went to a Larry June one. And so I asked him what it was about Larry June that made him want to go to that show. But yeah, Larry was the first rapper I ever went to go see live. It was two things that motivated me to do so. The first was watching his documentaries on YouTube and seeing the vibes from the crowd, and I thought to myself, damn, I wouldn't mind being there. It just seemed chill AF. The second thing was actually a message he shares often in his music, which is getting yourself out of your comfort zone. Like I said, I don't like being around a lot of people, so it was a challenge to myself, but it was also a dope experience because I feel like a lot of Larry fans are like-minded people, so every time I've gone, it's felt like a community. Side note, this friend makes awesome LA rap beats, so if you're an artist looking for more production like that, I put his beat channel in the description. The key aspect here is the vibes of the show, being chill, being like-minded, being a relaxed environment. The stark contrast to something like Rolling Loud, which features teenagers running around, full energy, drinking whatever the 2025 version of Four Loko is, and throwing up on the concrete in a parking lot. The funny thing is both Currency and Larry June have played Rolling Loud before, but their shows on their home turf are a much different environment, and the people who attend their shows know it's not going to feel like a Travis Scott or a Playboi Carti concert. They're going to be able to chill, smoke, nod their head, get some good advice. Now, of course, this whole package is generally a lot more alluring to an older crowd, so I think the audience of lifestyle rap of Currency, of Larry June, it skews a little bit older than Rolling Loud, at least, where there's probably a lot of 16 to 20-year-olds. I don't think it's a requirement to see your first few gray hairs or get your first twinge of back pain to appreciate lifestyle rap, but I do think someone is more likely to relate to these things if they've got a little bit of salt and pepper in their beard. There comes a time, and for some it comes earlier than others, that you start to see through certain marketing tactics and gimmicks. Perhaps your tastes and interests start to crystallize, and you turn on that Osama Sun album and you say, you know what, I don't think I'm gonna do this today. Your ticket to the unction is delivered to your Apple Wallet, if you even know how to use your Apple Wallet. In all seriousness though, when Larry talks about drinking his green juice, getting a nice little house for him and his girl, or Dom Kennedy talks about not doing certain drugs, it's probably gonna hit harder for a slightly older audience. And hip hop, like I say so much, it continues to balloon and grow, and the branches from the trees are getting stronger and stronger and able to support their own little ecosystems. People can shop for what they want now. And some of the people who, are kind of sick of rap caviar, they're finding solace in mellow bars and spilled ink. And I feel like we've painted a picture of what lifestyle rap is. It's kind of got a little bit of advice, healthier, it's a little more mature. The production, a lot of times, is driven by soul samples. You might see these guys lock in and do a jazz rap album with The Alchemist, making Vince Carter very excited. And now that we kind of have an idea of what lifestyle rap is, let's talk about what it's not. Because some people look at Currency, they look at Larry June, they look at early Wiz Khalifa, and they say, this is weed rap. And that's one way to look at it, for sure. But I don't think they're automatically the same thing. If anything, lifestyle rap and weed rap are like fraternal twins. They popped out at the same time, but they don't share all the same DNA. They do have a ton of overlap, potheads like to chill and do chill stuff. I know if I smoked the weed that Currency smokes or that Larry June smokes, and then I went to a Travis Scott party, I would have a lot of anxiety. I would get scared. I would probably go home. Most lifestyle rap fans, they listen to what Dom Kennedy describes and they say, hey, that's my type of party. But I just want to point out that you don't necessarily have to smoke weed, talk about smoking weed to be a lifestyle rapper, to make engaging music that talks about the more minute details of everyday life, but tells it in an interesting way. Exhibit A of this is a good friend of mine, actually, and one of the fastest growing artists in the lifestyle rap world, and that's Black Sam. You might know him from our song Like Water, or maybe you know him from his excellent 2024 album Michelin Man, which features our friend Currency and Boldy James. Black Sam has carved out a really nice niche for himself by describing the things that he loves: high-end fashion, fine dining, with wordplay and vocabulary that sets him apart from the pack. He carries himself with an assuredness that he kind of knows what he's doing, and that comes from the tree of Currency. And he's got a delivery as icy and smooth as a dozen Kumamoto oysters. I thought I'd ask someone that people consider to be a lifestyle rapper what he thinks when he hears the phrase lifestyle rap. And he said, subtle flexes, matter-of-fact raps, and hyper-realism, which feels like a pretty great way to sum it up. We talked about the subtle differences between weed rap and lifestyle rap, and when Currency came up, Sam put it in a way that made a lot of sense to me. Yeah, I used to see Currency as a weed rapper, but now that I actually listen to him, and not just what people say about him, I don't think so anymore. He's rapping about his life, which just so happens to include a lot of weed. If it were something else, then he'd be rapping about that. Another thing that I personally don't think is the exact same as lifestyle rap is luxury rap, for whom the best example might be Rick Ross. Sure, Rick Ross could be considered by some to be a lifestyle rapper. He's telling you about his lifestyle, it just happens to be a very luxurious one. And sure, Currency and Larry June still rap about some pretty expensive stuff. Expensive cars, clothes, and watches. But there still feels like there's a difference to me. So I asked Sam what he thought. There's a lot of overlap between lifestyle and luxury rap. For me, the main difference is that luxury rap is a rapper's attempt to kind of romanticize the world they live in to appeal to listeners, whereas lifestyle rap is a rapper's attempt to take a relatively unadorned, hyper-realist approach to describing the world they live in. So essentially, Rick Ross is telling you about his Oyster Perpetual and saying it's something everybody should strive to put on their wrist, as a light at the end of the tunnel for all the work that we put into our lives. And Currency is telling us exactly what he wants to do because it's what he wants to do. And if it's expensive, it's expensive. If it's playing 2K, it's playing 2K. It includes luxurious stuff sometimes, but it doesn't have to. Or as Sam put it, he's simply reporting on what he owns and what he does, instead of telling you how much better he is than you because of what he owns and what he does. Does this mean that to be lifestyle rap, the lifestyle needs to be attainable to a certain amount of people? Because Rick Ross raps about things that I'll probably never be able to afford. Currency, on the other hand, maybe I can't buy the dozens of cars that he has, but it's like if I worked for my whole life and I really set my mind to it, when I retire, maybe I could buy one if it was really my life's goal. For Black Sam, one of the things that he emphasizes in his song titles, his lyrics, and his branding is his love for high-end food. This crosses over into his visual world, where he's done a series for his album called Back of House, where he does hanging mic performances in open kitchen plans in really nice restaurants. To take things a step further, he's even doing a custom album-themed tasting menu and listening experience at a bunch of different high-end restaurants across America, with 2 seatings at the Michelin-starred restaurant Bruto in Denver sold out for this month. Yeah, it's more expensive than a Wendy's 4 for $4, but even if people can only eat at places like that a couple times in their life, it's the type of luxury that is comparatively within reach for the average guy versus a really nice Rolex, you know? And when I asked him about this, he said, I don't think it has to be an attainable lifestyle, but it has to be presented in a way that makes such a lifestyle approachable. So it's all such a fine line. And it leads to the elephant in the room, the name, lifestyle rap. Like I said in the beginning of the video, it's not caught on so hard that it's unchangeable. It's gotten some use on the internet, but if we all decided that there was a better thing to call it, it wouldn't be too late to start calling it that. The definition of the word lifestyle is the way in which a person or group lives, which I guess is accurate, but it feels a little bit vague, It feels like a word that's often associated with flashier context, more out of left field type context than maybe just describing a day in the life. So what does an actual quote unquote lifestyle rapper think of the name? I think there has to be a better name, because lifestyle rap doesn't really explain what it is at all. So we spitballed a few others. Hyperrealism raps? Nope. Life rap? Not sure that really helps. Day in the life rap? Maybe a bit too wordy, but it's kind of accurate. Day-to-day raps? Kind of decent, similar to the last one. Quotidian raps? In the moment, I wanted to look smart, so I pretended to know what that meant, but after Googling it, quotidian means of or occurring every day. Okay, that's true. I'm not really sold on there being enough people who know what that word means to adopt it. What do you guys think? What should we call this genre? Lifestyle rap good enough? Does any of this really matter? Probably not. Humans have this intense desire to categorize things, put them in boxes, and I feel like music nerds are one of the biggest offenders of that. But it does feel like this niche is in need of a good name. Maybe lifestyle rap is the best we'll get. Let me know if you think of something better in the comments. And hey, if you like videos on music like this one, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe. I post a video every week. If you want to see them early, go to my Instagram, HADJI Gaviota, throw me a follow, and join my broadcast channel. I post the links to all my videos one day early in there. Also wanted to say thanks for all the support on my new song, Chemical X, with my new group, Elmjack. We're dropping a song every month, so stay tuned. There'll be another one coming. Putting the link to that video in the description. Let me know what you want me to cover next. Peace.